Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the CNC Auto channel. Just wanted to give you that are working on these 3.6 GM motors, the LY7 or whatever they want to call them, a few little tips on how to do the time and chain in the car with as little movement of accessories and other things as possible. So one of the things that you'll see is that you can move the alternator here out of the way, off of the bracket that it's attached to. It may be easier to get to a couple of the bolts from underneath. Once you take that belly pan out, you can get to them and see them really good from underneath. Then you can just set that alternator to the side. I haven't detached any of the wires on it. I did detach the battery cable so that we don't cause any shorts or anything like that. The other thing that you will need to do though is you will need to remove the pulley off of your power steering pump, okay? The only other thing over here that you've got to remove is the one bolt that goes over from this side into to hold this bracket for the power steering pump. It comes into the timing cover as well. And so those are the only things you really have to move. Now, as you can see, I've just pulled my power steering reservoir over to the side and bungeed it out of the way. I took this one hose here off and just sort of plugged it. Just really no need to drain that or anything like that. The computer, which is normally here, that's mounted on the front of the timing cover, you can just pull that here to the side as well. And again, I've just got that bungeed out of the way. The wiring harness, once you get everything unplugged, you'll see that it's got quite a bit of play in it, and you can just move it and set it up here out of the way. Just be careful that you don't get any of these connectors kind of snagged as you're rotating the engine over, either snagged in here underneath the timing chain or in and amongst the valve train. There's a lot of videos out there that show how to remove the timing cover, but one thing you will need to do obviously is take your valve covers off. One thing I like to do instead of what I have seen online is I like to go ahead and pull all of these valve actuators out before I take the front timing cover. You'll see some videos where they leave them in the timing cover and they have to pull. There's 4 of these, 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and you'll see they have to pull the timing cover straight out. And I think that runs a risk of boogering up some of the surfaces here, both in these bores and on the actuators themselves. So I go ahead and just pull them out of the way so that we don't have that issue. Over here, you'll see that we've got the timing cover off. You don't need to remove these little plates that kind of got some foam stuff behind them. Once you undo these bolts, it will come off with this plate in place. The other thing you don't have to take off is your water pump, unless you're wanting to change it. But just the big 13mm headed bolts around it go through the timing cover and hold it in place. But other than that, you just go around the perimeter of this timing cover and remove all of the bolts that go through the timing cover and into the block or the heads. And then you can peel this thing off. And remember, I took these actuators out that go here and here, so it made it easier. And just pry it up at the top real easily, and you'll see that it'll come off, and you can have the water pump still on there. Now, I would definitely replace the gasket, but if the water pump's good, it's up to you. You can live with it for a while. But yeah, just clean these surfaces up, and that's the easiest way that I've found to remove this thing. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. And the next thing that you can do, and I would recommend, is go ahead and go online, Amazon or someplace like that, and buy these retaining plates that hold your camshafts in place. They look like this. There's a couple of different ones. You can watch the Melling time and chain replacement videos, and they'll show you how to use these. But basically, what you do is you rotate your engine over until you've got your timing mark down here, which is that little dot on the crank pulley. It's maybe not focusing the best here, but I think you can see it. It'll be at about the 5 o'clock position. And when you have that crank timing dot in the 5 o'clock position, it'll either be in place or 180 out. Now, when it's in place, the flat sides of these camshafts on the driver's side or the left side of the engine will be facing up, okay? And so you see the flat sides on this plate will slide right into place there and hold the camshafts in place while you are taking the timing set off, okay? Now, the passenger side over here is not going to have those flats straight up. They're going to be at an angle, kind of at a 45-degree angle. It may be a little bit difficult to see that here, but again, the Melling timing set installation video on YouTube would be very handy to see how that works. One thing that you may find is as you put your crankshaft in time down here, moving that dot down here to the 5 o'clock position, if the flats on your driver's side are facing upwards like they should be, and the other passenger side is at a 45-degree angle like it should be, you may be able to get one of these retaining plates on, but not the other. So that's okay. Don't get too freaked out. You know, there's a lot. One of the reasons why we have to work on this is because these time and chains stretch so much. It's a notorious problem with these engines, these 3.6s. So just put the retaining plate on that'll fit, and then get back on your bolt here and turn the engine a little bit, and you'll see that the camshafts will continue to rotate just a little bit, even with that plate in place, and often allow you to put the other plate on. So there's a little tip for you as well. Again, hope you guys enjoy this. Hope it was helpful to you, and I will post another video here about how to put the engine in time to put the new chains on in a bit. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.